Hey, everybody. Welcome tonight to East to Westler, a podcast series where we discuss the greats in professional wrestling, going back into one of the unknown heroes of professional wrestling. With us tonight, Dave, the Birdman, Krolik.
How you doing, Jack? It's good to see you.
Couldn't be better. Glad you're here, Dave. How are you?
No problem. Happy to be here. Yeah.
So, Dave, you had a very short career.
I did one match. One match and I was gone. Yeah.
It was a match to remember, though.
Right.
Dave, do you remember the setting? Do you remember kind of what you walked into that night? Can you recall?
Well, it was an electric crowd. Yeah. I remember. It was, where was it, Boise?
Yeah, we were in Boise.
Okay. Yeah.
The auditorium in Boise.
Right. And I mean, I could feel the tension in the air as I walked in. And keep in mind, this is my first wrestling match out of Saskatoon.
Yeah.
6'4", 115 pounds.
Incredible. And you didn't look a pound over 104.
I probably didn't. I think it might have been the shorts, but I will say this. When I first saw Hammerhead, he scared the daylights out of me.
Well, Hammerhead would scare the daylights out of everybody. He was 275 pounds, soaking wet. And just about as strong a beast as you've ever seen anywhere. He struck fear in sailors for years.
And my thought was, who scheduled this thing? Because I looked at it and I said, I gotta be honest with you, Jack, I'm in trouble here. But
you had a strategy.
Well, Hammer's eyes were really far apart. And so my thought was, go straight at him, right?
And fans out there, what you don't know is Dave the Birdman was one of the brightest. He was a biology major in college.
Sure.
He studied marine biology.
Yeah.
So if anybody knew the weaknesses of Hammerhead the Sharkman, it would have to be Dave the Birdman.
That's the approach I took. I took a scholarly approach to the match. And, it didn't work out so well.
Well, and you studied the habits of sharks.
Yeah.
Flew over them for years.
Oh, absolutely.
Getting prepared. And I think that's the thing that convinced the matchmaker and Johnny
could be
to pull this thing together.
Yeah, because what I was afraid of when I walked in that auditorium, frankly, was a feeding frenzy. And that was what was really scaring me. Hammer looks over at me, blood in the water. You know what I'm saying?
He could do that. He was so intimidating.
Yeah.
The sharpest. The sharpest teeth. Thank goodness he never used them on
but he had. Oh yeah. I mean, there was a Vodney crab that he used on me, and then,
we don't need to.
Yeah, the one.
Yeah. Well, they called it the butt plow, and he took out many a wrestler.
Well,
but nothing as devastating as the time that he met you.
Don't talk about the.
And how long did it take you to recover?
I don't think there's any wrestler that's ever come out of a match and had to go straight into therapy. This was tough. This was tough. That's not a wrestling move that I want to even discuss or address. And in my book, One and Done, I touch on it. But that's not something to be taken. Let's talk about something else.
One and Done is available on Amazon.
Yeah,
still.
Yeah.
So take a look at it. It's highly rated. Highly rated. I think it's you can pick it up for like 37 cents.
Message me. I've got like 4,000 in my closet.
Yeah. Well,
but
that's what happens.
Yeah.
But you made a good life after you came out of therapy. About 6 years later, you reemerged?
I started my own company called Honeydew Inc. And what it is, first thing I did when I got out of wrestling was I started a company, it didn't last very long, which consulted consultants. Okay? So it sounds to me...
Sometimes they need that.
Yeah, well, sometimes it sounds a little bit like an infinite regress, but I went into the consultants and I said, I got in there and I said, this is what you need to do. If you're going to be consulting these companies, I need to consult you, to shape you, help you consult other companies.
And what did you charge for that sage advice?
I was about $100 an hour. But let me tell you this. Here's where the problem arose. I wasn't successful because I didn't have anybody consulting me. And that's, where does it start and where does it end?
Yeah.
Sure.
See, lesson learned. That's
okay.
That's one of the great things about you,
right,
Dave.
Yeah.
You took such a scholarly approach to things that you could diagnose a problem, well after it was started. You knew, within 18, 19 months of like literally no revenue, you realized that there was something missing. And, for you to figure out that you missed that consultant consulting you. Because frankly, when you had that sort of moment, that aha moment, you came back and said, what that consultant that was consulting me would have said at the beginning was, don't consult with consultants.
Exactly. And so that didn't work. So what I did was I started a company called Honeydew. And it generates concise lists for businesses. Okay? People don't know what to do. You come into these companies, they have no idea. They don't even know. I don't even know how they're staying open. Okay? Don't even know how they're open. So,
And
so I get in there.
Yeah.
I get in there. And through kind of a complicated series of ergonomics, I create lists. And they instantly know what they have to do and what they don't have to do. And one company spent a fortune with me. Fortune. I can't even, I can't even go into it. And when the list came out, all they needed was staples.
The simplicity of that brilliance cannot be understated, because if you don't have staples,
right?
How are you gonna like?
Well, you can't
clip any paper together.
No, you can't collate. Collate.
Paper clips don't work as well.
No, staples are they're underrated, and we don't need to go down the staple road. We've been down that road many, many times before.
Well, I'm glad it worked out for you with the stapler. Any other interesting experiences with Honeydew that you want to share with our audience?
Well,
have you ever been on Shark Tank? Did you hear what they do on Shark Tank?
What's that? What?
People come in with an idea for a business,
yeah,
and you pitch it to investors,
yeah,
like Mark Cuban, who made a fortune putting crappy basketball teams on the floor in Dallas.
Okay.
He's on it.
Okay.
Yeah. And he might be able to say, like, I love this idea, and I'll give you like $10,000 maybe for like 80% of the company.
Oh, wow.
Or not. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. So
it's worth a try.
But do I have to have
you get the connection, don't you?
Yeah.
Like Sharkman, Shark Tank. It could be fate, kismet.
Do I have to have a basketball team?
No.
Okay.
That's the beauty of it.
Okay.
You don't have to have anything to do with sports.
Okay.
But you probably would have like a little bit of a narrative, a little bit of an idea of what your business is all about, who your customers are. This could be huge.
You're right.
Do you need any capital?
I'm okay.
You're
okay
good
with
capital.
I'm good with capital.
So that's awesome. And I want to wish you from East to Westler, and all the folks that help us put this incredible podcast together, we want to wish you the very best luck with Honeydew Inc.
Thank you, Jack.
You're welcome. From the heart. Now, I want to turn our attention to something a little bit more somber.
Okay.
We lost a dear friend, Johnny Huggins.
Oh, Johnny Huggins.
4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, 2013.
And I know that you had been working, trying to keep Johnny's legacy alive ever since.
Yes. I have an autographed picture of him in front of a microphone in my den. So, yes, I have been trying to keep that alive. I haven't moved much beyond that.
Oh.
But there it is. But Johnny will be missed. I mean, he had a niche. Okay?
No doubt about it.
So he'd sit there and he'd introduce. He didn't do much else though, did he?
No. He had the best job in the business.
Yeah.
He would just come out and do a little bit of, here's the wrestlers, and sit down.
Yeah.
And we had to carry the ball.
Yeah, because you and him didn't have that sort of repertoire. It was just Johnny, and then he'd stop, and then turn it over to you, and you'd have to do
and I'd say thanks, Johnny. That's the only time we ever related to each other.
Right.
We'd be on the bus, try to start a conversation. He wanted to have nothing to do with any of us.
Yeah.
It's a sad thing. But he was as good for the early days of pro wrestling as anybody.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm working on. I'm a little embarrassed, but I've got a little impression going on of Johnny Huggins. If you don't, are you ready?
I'd love to hear it.
Okay.
I'd love to hear it.
Well, he'd the match. Do the match that he did with me. Because I had. All right, here we go. I'm kind of nervous. Well, thank you, Jack. In his corner, out of Saskatoon, Dave, the Birdman Krolik. Was that okay? It wasn't bad?
Uncanny.
Really?
Uncanny.
Yeah.
You sound like you were him
Dude,
30 years ago.
That's funny.
That is
incredible. Funny. We almost sound like the same person.
The same person. Exactly.
So funny.
A younger. Younger you. But still.
Okay, sure.
But still. That's what I mean about keeping Johnny's legacy alive.
Did Johnny had met an unfortunate death, and he didn't just pass away. It was something what happened to Johnny?
That story about Johnny, though, before we get into like his ultimate passing, was kind of sad. He kind of, when WWE came in, Johnny had this incredible opportunity. They didn't want to have anything to do with me, Jack Westler.
Right.
In fact, Vince McMahon called me one day and called me Jack Wrestler with an R. Do you believe that?
There's no R in your name.
That's incredible.
No.
That's kind of like calling...
There's no R in your first name.
No.
Yeah.
That's like calling Harry Carey and calling him like Harold Care.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable. I was so offended. That was it. I was never going to work for him again.
He didn't care enough.
But he loved
the
Johnny.
details, sure.
He loved Johnny.
Okay.
But he wanted Johnny to be over the top. And he found like people that would be bigger than Johnny. And this is when Johnny came to me. He said, Jack, we never talked ever. But I know you've got some good advice. You got a big heart. And I'd like to hear, like, what can I do to kind of transition to this new age of big, showy wrestling, pay-per-views, and all this garbage that took over the sport? And I said, you got to just develop a new persona. You can't be like you wanted to be like Ernie Harwell or Red Barber. You needed to be big and bold, over the top. And Johnny, he said, thanks for the advice, but he didn't act on it.
Yeah, well, it was just him. He was a soft-spoken guy.
Yeah, and then
he Jacker.
He called me Jacker.
Yeah.
That was the sweetest thing.
Yeah.
I love being called Jacker.
Who wouldn't?
No, it's good. So, what happened? You heard about Johnny, right? What happened, right?
No. Wait. Did he step on a rake?
He stepped on a rake in his backyard. Popped that thing up at about 100 miles an hour, hit him right between the eyeballs.
Oh. Yeah, that's tough. So but that didn't kill him. Did that kill him right there?
It took a while. He spent maybe the last 6 months of his life after that incident thinking that he was Carol Channing.
Huh.
And, frankly, his Hello Dolly wasn't all that bad.
Well, hello, Dolly. Oh, hello. Do you think he would sound like that when he did it?
Hear the spitting image.
That's
I
great.
swear to God, you're him. You are him.
Well, I hope the nurses liked it. Now, Jack, I got something I want to ask you.
Oh.
If I could.
We could do that.
You're going around, you're interviewing all these wrestlers.
Yep.
Have you talked to Hammerhead? Do you know what he's up to?
Yeah, episode 341.
Okay.
I went down to Key West.
Yeah.
We sat down for a bit. Went to one of his 18 seafood restaurants. His Hammer's done well. He retired just a couple years after the bout in Boise. And decided that he had some different skills that he wanted to sort of play, some different instruments in his own personal orchestra, if you will. So he opened up one seafood restaurant, and he found that he had this incredible gift of bringing in this haul of incredible fish. And he did a lot of it just by himself. You know, he'd take a dive in the ocean and come back with a mesh bag full of salmon and tarpon and anything that he could kind of find. He'd bring it in. Flounder.
Okay.
Oh, halibut. He'd get halibut. You know, imagine, he was 270 when he finished wrestling.
Sure.
And just kept getting bigger and bigger and stronger and stronger. So, you know, a 300-pound halibut. Tuna. Yeah. So I think sometimes he could even swim from Key West up to the Outer Banks and grab some yellowfin and bring it back.
Sure.
Right on the dock.
Yeah.
Lay it. You never had fresher seafood than at Hammerhead the Sharkman's fish places.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
Anyway.
I might have, if it's Key West, I might have been there. Does he have a mechanical shark?
Yes, he does.
Ride?
Yes, he does. It's a replica.
Sawdust on the floor?
The whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been there. Yeah, Hammerheads. Of course. Now that I mentioned, of course. Hammerheads. Yes.
And he...
I didn't even think about it.
That's incredible what he's been able to do, and that every single restaurant has the mechanical shark that looks like he did in 1978.
That's funny.
Incredible.
He's got the big red shorts with the white stripes.
The whole Hammerhead outfit.
Oh, that's great. But it's a real shark.
So I walk in, and it just sends me back to 1978 in the auditorium. And I just really enjoyed the time with the Hammer.
Oh, good.
He passes on his finest greetings to you as well.
Well, I'm over it now, so you can say
yeah,
hello.
you know, and for Hammer to remember, you know, I think it really speaks to just the kind of competitor you were that night.
Well, I did a lot of running around.
Yeah, well, that match lasted. Yeah, that match lasted a good, 1 minute and 42 seconds, I think. That was close to 2 minutes.
I gave it a good 2 minutes.
Close to, very close. And then, and then he just got you in the butt plow. And that was it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Well, dark moment in your career and your life. Now, I know you got to be friends with McMangler out of Ireland. And why don't you fill us in? Because I'd love to sit down with McMangler someday.
Yeah, I'll get you in touch with him. He's a little odd.
Always was.
Yeah. McMangler was one of the wrestlers. I thought he's one of the more colorful wrestlers that I really wanted to fight, because even though, again, he was close to 300 and I was pushing 115. He had that little leprechaun hat that he used to wear. Remember that?
Cute as could be.
Yeah, and he had the green sort of, clover shorts. And
custom made.
Yeah, and I wanted to knock that hat off of his head. I'll tell you what, and I never got the chance to do it. He was good. I mean, the four-limb clover.
One of the most devastating moves ever.
Absolutely, and
you'd be pretty unlucky to get caught in that.
That's good. That's good, Jack. The potato famine. Remember that hold?
Yeah, the potato famine. One of the big mysteries of the early days of our sport.
I'm not sure what that was. He kept talking about it.
Talked about it all the time.
But it wasn't very. Let's be honest. It wasn't very self-explanatory.
Nobody knew what it was.
No.
But it was this threat.
Yeah.
That you could not get put in the potato famine.
Yeah,
or you'd be in drought forever.
Yeah, it was a threatening.
Your family wouldn't eat.
Yeah. Well, that's what he would say, and we couldn't figure out what it was or how he was going to go about that. And honestly, I don't know if we ever saw McMangler do the potato famine. But what killed McMangler was that really ill-advised promotion that he had. And he started out, he had this thing where he went into this no snakes thing. Remember the no snakes?
Yeah.
Where he had apparently the folklore goes that St. Patrick chased all the snakes out of Ireland, so that's why there's no snakes in Ireland.
True story.
Yeah. Well, most people have never heard that story. So when he went into the no snakes promotion, people were kind of going, what is he talking about? And and he had the whole T-shirt thing, and he called everybody who was going to wrestle him a snake.
Yep.
And he said, no snakes in my ring, no snakes.
Ever.
And
well, you know, when you think about it, years after the fact, of course, because we had no idea that McMangler was really sort of putting these metaphors out there for, like, the history of Ireland.
Yeah.
And
people didn't know what the heck no snakes are. What are you talking about? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's like the potato famine. He threw out these non sequiturs.
Yeah.
I think that's what killed him. But you know what? That's also what made him so special. I'll tell you what. I have got McMangler in my phone.
no.
Yeah. Look.
Let's take a look.
McMangler.
You got his number?
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know what his name is. I just have it as McMangler. I'll get it to you after that.
That would be great.
After the interview, I'll get him your number.
We can
shoot him a text.
He does
He'll
text. How do you do text?
How do I do text?
Yeah, I don't know how to do a text.
Really?
No. What's a text?
Oh, come on, East to Westler.
Well,
buddy,
I just
sure
go
you do.
straight to the podcast thing, you know. And,
okay. Yeah. So you don't have a Twitter account or Instagram or any of that stuff?
What?
Really?
What are you talking about?
Oh, buddy. You got to get into
No,
that.
I just have a
You gotta get into the
smartphone
20s.
and
Okay.
iTunes and
Okay.
I own recording studio that I carry around in the back of my pickup.
Okay.
That's all. That's all I got. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
all I
you want
got.
to start getting into some of that stuff.
Yeah. You know, I got one sponsor, by the way.
Okay.
East to Westler. Brought to you by Honeydew Incorporated.
Okay. I will sponsor you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
Hey, did you not do a show with your mom? Did you
Yes.
have a show with your mom for a while?
We did. Well, we did a couple of episodes. We thought it would make her a star. We thought it would be great. But, you know,
She's no slouch in the wrestling. What was that?
she knew more about wrestling.
Westler's mother. Is that
Westler's mother was what we called it. Was
Right,
A
okay.
little like it was a spin-off podcast of what we were doing here.
Okay. Yeah.
And, you know, we got through about 12 minutes of the first episode, and
You just-
and no,
you
no,
fought.
yeah, she
Difficult?
was difficult. Love her to death, but
Right.
woman
But-
knew everything about nothing and everything about everything and a little bit about nothing and a little bit about a little bit, and wouldn't be afraid to tell you about it either. You know, like
That's all very clear. Yeah.
and nobody wanted to hear her criticizing my haircut.
Well, you're
or-
you're not even on TV. It's a podcast.
She
What
didn't-
difference does it make what shirt you're wearing, right?
Yeah, well, to her, it mattered. She'd say, "Jacker." That's
Oh,
the
she called
first
you Jacker
first-
too?
That's why Johnny and I.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Jacker, you gotta be presentable no matter what. You never
Right.
know who you're gonna run into.
Yeah. I mean, you wear the shirt with the collar, regardless of whether they can see you or not, because what you wear is in here, that kind of thing.
That whole thing.
Oh yeah. I've heard that before. Yeah.
So,
okay, so it didn't work. So
no,
Wes's mother
rest
was
in peace.
short-lived.
Yeah, Westler's mother did not play out as well. You know, so why don't we wrap up this
That sounds good.
podcast? So this has been East to Westler with our great friend and dear wrestling legend, for not the right reasons, but the legend
Right.
of Dave the Birdman Krolik.
It's
Dave,
been-
let's wrap this thing.
Hey, it's been great. Great to see you again, Jack. I look forward to future podcasts, perhaps working together a little bit in the future. We'll see.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, while you're at it,
Yeah.
what am I missing? Build me a list of what I need for my podcast.
I will.
Thanks.
I will. Yeah. And you know what? It's just we'll call it a free. We'll call it a free one. Free.
Text might be one. Like learn how to text.
Sure.
That might be number one on the list.
Yeah. You need to know how to do that. That might be number one without the ergonomics, if you think about it.
Yeah, but let's start small.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds
Well,
great.
very good.
Well,
So
hey, good to
this
see you,
has
buddy.
been East to Westler, episode 391. So long, everybody.